Now, I don't know if it's because I listened to so much Sleep Token last week doing research for that episode, but this week I picked a lot of really abrasive metal. Welcome, metalheads. I'm the host of Heavy Metal Philosophy and writer for Metal Digest, JonBarbas. Make sure you stick around to the end of the episode for this week's album art of the week. It's the weekend. That means new metal albums dropped, and I'm bringing you my 5 favorite. But as is customary, before we do the top 5, I always list the big bands that dropped albums this week, so let's jump into it. Not to be confused with Sleep Token, Sleep Theory has a new record called Afterglow if you're into alternative radio metal, but it gets heavy. Here you go. And not to be confused with Electric Callboy, there's a new record from the Callus Dow Boys, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven. However, both bands are weird and I love them. And just a couple of more metalcore records before we get into the quote, real metal. Bury Tomorrow, Will You Haunt Me with That Same Patience? That's a cool name. And there's a new record from Novelist called Coda. I will never be able to see this band without thinking about that time that I shot them when they were on tour with Era, and I was looking at their guitar player who looks like the love child of David Arquette and Ryan Gosling. I could never unsee it. That man's pretty. He plays guitar good too. All right, now let's get into some noisy stuff. A new record from Full of Hail called Broken Sword, Rotten Shield, which is also an incredible album title. And lastly, before we jump into the top 5, Tarja of Nightwish fame has a new solo live album called Circus Life. Respect to Nightwish forever. Now, y'all forgive me. I'm going to do it quick and efficient like this week because right after I get done recording, your boy's off to go see Arch Enemy. Number 5, Blacklight with As the Ember Dies. This is thrash metal out of Slovakia, and I love this because it's got hardcore in the vocals, a little bit of groove metal in the instrumentation, and it's tight and punchy. That's the way I like my thrash metal. Coming in at number 4, Blood Expectoration with Mortality Blast, death metal out of the Ukraine. And I love this because once again, it's got that hardcore influence, but this time it sounds like skater hardcore, except for the band, the instruments sound like old school death metal. The guitars have that 90s death metal tone, and the leads have this oozing and filthy feel to the guitar solos. You know it's going to tug at my degenerate heartstrings just right. Coming in at number 3, Druuth with The Teeth of Time, black metal out of Portland. Y'all have heard me do my rant about raw black metal plenty of times. I won't repeat it, but I will say that often not only does it sound bad, but it sounds dated to me. But every now and again, there's a band like Druuth who changed my mind because with their stripped down approach, they still have created something that sounds expansive here, which reminds me that sometimes there's new bands that still have something new to say with old styles of music. Coming in at number 2, Blood Monolith, The Calling of Fire, death metal out of Washington, D.C. And here we have former members and current members of Vastum, Genocide Pact, Ulthar, Nails, and Undeath getting together to make an even uglier death metal band than the ones they're already in, and I'd say mission accomplished. I told y'all it was going to be abrasive this week, and this epitomizes how abrasive it is. These guys sound like they're bashing their instruments in the back of a cavern. The notes never seem to decay. They just run into each other like mixing viscera. It's filthy. It's off-putting. It's nasty. It's discordant. All in the best of death metal ways. And hey, before we do number 1, I just got 2 things I want to say to you. First of all, this segment, we try to change it up every week. Next week will be this month's book recommendation. For now, I just want to say that, hey, the summer is upon us. That means you metalheads are going to need some metal shirts without sleeves, and I happen to have some. So head on over to JonBarbas-shop.fourthwall.com and look at my lovely selection of tank tops and shorter sleeves. And we've got the summer brew design that will only be available until the end of the summer. So get it while you can. Hey, I'm going to add a third thing because it's my show. Third thing is, if you liked any of these bands, hit the like button. Now let's do number one. Coming in at number one, Antroporia with Devoid of Light, death metal out of the Netherlands. And when I say death metal, I mean death metal. This is that old school, analog sounding death metal. And despite that old school sound, the production is clear, nice and punchy, thunderous drums, roaring vocals. The lead does sound a little bit tinny to me, which I think is a choice. If you're trying to sound old school, your mileage might vary, but I'm telling you, this record is so good. It's one of those that when it auto repeats, you just go, cool, let's keep going. All right, as longtime subscribers know, the Dealer's Choice segment allows me to break my own rules, pick things that aren't full albums, pick things that aren't even metal, and that's what I'm doing this week with Steve Von Till's new record, Alone in a World of Wounds. And this is definitely not metal, but metalheads will know Steve Von Till from Neurosis. This is his solo work, and it sounds to me like a withered and wise old poet ventured into the desert and improvised spoken word over the soundtrack of that dry, arid wasteland. It's moving, it's droning. It's like if Steve Von Till did your meditation for you, and at the end, you feel like your cup is empty. Now let's do the album art of the week. My favorite album art this week came from Deathcore. Blood washes away everything. Death metal / crust punk out of France. And check out this album art. That is, for lack of a better term, art. I could just stare at this visage all day and just wonder about the shapes and the colors and the brush strokes. How did this person do this? What was going on in their mind to make it look beautiful and ugly like that at the same time? That's fantastic. And another reason why it's fantastic and why it's great album art and not just art is because if you look at this cover in a pile of your heavy metal records, it's going to stand out. You're going to look at that and go, oh yeah, I remember that record every single time. That's excellent album art. And hey, one more thing before you go. Keep it locked here because the next 2 episodes of the podcast, I think y'all are going to really like it. We are finishing the month of May strong. In the meantime, last week's podcast, I broke down the ideas and themes, the philosophy, if you will, of the latest Sleep Token record. No judgment whatsoever on the music. This is not a review. It is analysis of the lyrics, ideas, and themes. If you want to check that out, just click right here. But most importantly, read philosophy, listen to metal. I love you.